This week on Young and the Restless, the focus is on Victor's role in Ashland's death and how Phyllis risks all to beat Diane. Newman and Abbott were the focus of this week's episode of Young and Restless, with a big number of characters missing in action. Goodbye, 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 in addition to Lily and Billy being away on a business trip. We also didn't see Devin, Amanda, Nate, or Imani. Their sudden absence was puzzling, given that we were preparing for Imani to make her move on Nate while Alina was away. Abby was nowhere to be found, which seemed odd given the fact that her husband and children were the center of attention. Is there anything the Newmans ever tell that girl? As previously reported, the XY and R star gave birth to an adorable baby boy. Put down the controllers. When Sally overheard Adam admitting to Sharon that he ended their relationship in order to save her employment, she exposed him. She couldn't get him to come clean and reunite with her, even knowing the truth. She must be frustrated because I have no doubt about how he felt after their kiss in Crimson Lights. When she slapped him and then dragged him into a kiss, I had a shudder down my spine. When Adam was done kissing her, he put her down and returned to his normal routine. After confronting Adam in his hotel room, Sally left with a warning that by the time he understands what a terrible mistake he's made, it may be too late because she'd moved on. This foreshadowing sequence added more substance to the episode. There's bound to be a new love triangle with her suddenly sharing scenes with Nick, who went a little caveman while attempting to convince her to stay at Newman Media, and confiding in Sharon. In a similar vein, I admire Sally and Chloe's partnership, but why would she turn to her for advice on Adam? In Chloe's mind, she felt she was trying to persuade her to stay, which she did. If you still love me, that is, tense over the surgery, the two of them were so empathetic to each other. When it comes to surgery, there is always a chance of complications. However, I'm disappointed to sense that they've been penned into a corner so that what happens to them doesn't really influence anyone else on the canvas. I desire your return. I sympathized with Kyle in having to tell his son such horrible news, but it made no sense for the Abbott to be mourning Ashland's death absence. For Kyle and Summer to be so distraught about Harrison never being able to see him again, it seemed strange because they had previously forbidden the man from visiting the child. Everything I do is for you. Much if Phyllis is able to land a job at Marchetti, she will face an uphill battle, since Kyle may be even more difficult to persuade than cautious Summer. For the sake of Summer's Marchetti and Jack's Jabot, it would be a terrible mistake for Diane to be sabotaged on the job. It's a risk and a half, given how well Diane's life has been going lately. Who better than Red to accept this challenge? It's game time. Gone. Ashland's story has disappointed me greatly since he and Victoria arrived in New York City. Victor hasn't had a formidable opponent in a long time, and he was the closest thing to a villain that this show has. Instead of making Victoria, fleecing him a continuation of their cat and mouse game, they wrote him right into ravine. If the Loch Ness Monster had finally shown up with a sophisticated retribution plan, I would have been all in. But unfortunately, all the hoopla culminated with the person spinning out of control. When it comes to the cover-up involving Nick and Victoria, it is clear that Victor's security team gathered the body, put it in his car, and drove to the ravine to make it look like a car accident. Quite a stealthy operation. The only thing that made me wonder was what they would have done if Nick and Victoria hadn't taken advantage of the opportunity to get some fresh air in the middle of a howling windstorm. In any event, it appears like chance will solve the problem. What's next then? Is this a trial or something? While Ashland could still return, we haven't seen a body and Diane is still alive. Locke physically harmed Victoria, thus there is a limit to what the character can achieve unless he is redeemed. He can't be given a tumor because they previously did that with JT. Because of the false cancer controversy, no one would believe him. I'm only saying what I think. Please feel free to participate in the discussion below.